Hi, everybody. So, today we're going to talk about something that is the key to overcoming binge eating, body image issues, any sort of food obsession. And it's an F word, and it's not the F word you think, it's actually forgiveness. And I know when I talk about this with my clients and my coaching clients, I sense a lot of resistance to the idea of forgiveness. Number one, it's a very self help term, and you hear the idea of forgiveness all the time, so it's sort of been desensitized. And another reason is that when you're stuck in the cycle of really perfectionistic thinking, black and white thinking, and also being really negative and doubtful of yourself, the idea of forgiving yourself is totally foreign. It feels like giving up, and there's just a ton of resistance there. And I experienced this for 10 years during my recovery as well. I just felt like if I forgave myself for anything, especially for anything weight related or food related, then I would just, it would be a free for all and I would just gain a bunch of weight or become a sloth or something. I had this crazy idea in my head. So here's why you have to forgive in the beginning of your journey to recover from disordered eating, body image struggles, and the whole kind of spectrum of that. Forgiveness is something that if you don't do it, you're just going to be totally weighed down the whole time you're trying to make any positive changes. So, just practically speaking, if you're trying to release weight and heal and just be physically, emotionally, and mentally lighter, not forgiving yourself weighs you down, literally. So it's just not efficient. If you think about it, you don't want to have something heavy on your back when you're trying to run a marathon. You want to be as light as can be. So forgiveness is essentially really taking that weight off of you. The next reason that you have to forgive is that you really don't realize all the stuff that's rattling around in your mind, negative things that you think about yourself, things you're holding against yourself, things you're holding against people that hurt you in third grade, or uncles that showed up at family reunions and said, "Wow, you look like you've been eating a lot of mashed potatoes." That is an example from my personal life. So you don't really realize all of the things that you're holding against yourself and others in your life when it comes to body image, food, and the whole thing. And once you realize that, there's a ton of power in just putting it all out there, all the scary stuff that you don't really want to think about, and then allowing yourself to see it and then forgive it. It just, again, leads back to that first reason, which is it makes you feel so much lighter. But the other piece is that sometimes people don't think that they have anything to forgive. They don't think they're angry. They don't think that they're frustrated. They don't think that they're hanging on to any resentment. And I'm willing to bet that 99.9% of you actually do have a lot that you need to forgive. A lot of us are holding against ourselves. Man, I used to be so thin, or I used to be so fit. Now I've gained weight. I'm so embarrassed. I'm so ashamed. There's something morally wrong with me for having gotten to this place. Think about that. That is just really negative things that you're thinking about yourself, and the consequences of that are just so dire. You walk around with those terrible voices in your head. And also, thinking back to times when people have really hurt you with the words that they've said about your body or about who you are, it really, really hurts. And a lot of times we just kind of bypass it and pretend it didn't happen because it's just too painful. But when you really just examine it, put it all out on the table, you can get through that hurt and take the bullets out, or, help heal the bruise is a metaphor I like to use for that. Because if you don't examine those things, again, it's like you're walking around with this heavy pack on your back, and then you're walking around with all these bruises. So it's really, this forgiveness process is just almost like creating a beautiful blank slate that you can recreate and recreate who you are and create something beautiful out of, maybe some pain that you've experienced throughout your journey with your body and with food. So, to recap, I know that it is super scary to think about forgiving yourself. It feels counterintuitive, and like if you forgive yourself, you're just going to go backwards and you're going to, slide into this oblivion of not trying and, going out of control with food. It's actually not true. You are creating a space for yourself where there's acceptance and love and positivity, and the amount of energy you gain back from that is astounding. And you're going to need that energy if you are going to heal yourself and make any sort of body transformation. And the other aspect is I'm willing to bet that you have some things in your past where people have been unkind, maybe people have bullied you, and those hurts are just really burrowed deep inside of you. And to examine them again is scary, but once you do that, you will free up so much of your mental and emotional energy that you're going to need for this journey ahead. So, I hope this rundown on the importance of forgiveness was helpful. Again, it's the most important step, but also the hardest step for a lot of people to achieve. I'm telling you right now, it's totally worth it. And in fact, if you don't go through this step, your chances of finding healing and finding optimism and hope on the other side are just much more difficult. So go for it. Be willing to forgive yourself. Be willing to look in the past and get angry about people that have hurt you and then let it go. It's going to be tough, but so, so worth it. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you have a beautiful weightless day.